Hello, my name's Simon Field. Welcome to this short introduction to our technical debt management solution. Technical debt can be a good thing. It can enable you to get to market faster. It can help you save money by deferring and delaying an essential upgrade, for example. But if you don't acknowledge that debt and go back and fix it later, it can drag down your business. If it's not fixed, it might cause your systems to be much harder to change. They may not be so scalable. It may slow down your business in terms of them having to work around the inefficiencies that failure to keep the system up to date has caused. And it could also add risk to your organization. So it's important that one takes account of all the debt that you've got and actually spend some effort and time to understand the debt that you've incurred and go back and fix it over time. So how do you go about doing that? Most organizations don't really know how to go about doing it. They don't measure it and they don't actively manage it. And that's where our solution comes in. It helps you go through the process of uncovering and understanding that debt, and then deciding which things you need to do something about now and which ones you can delay. Let's have a quick look at the process. It starts with identifying it, looking across your IT estate and understanding where you've got some debt, and then identifying those debt items and describing them. That allows you to assess the debt, decide which things you can safely ignore, which things you can delay for a bit longer, and more importantly, perhaps identify those items that you need to address immediately. And of course, then having decided you're going to do something about it, it's vital that you actually do. Find the budget, use visualizations in order to be able to articulate the business impact so that you can get people behind putting budget to actually address the debt, budget and resources, and then devote that budget and resources to fixing the debt, and then you can move on and remove some of that inefficiency from your organization. Of course, it's a continuous process. As you fix debt, so more debt will probably be occurring elsewhere in your estate, so you need to continuously monitor it. And that's where our solution comes in. So the solution, just before we jump in and have a look at an example, the solution allows you to understand where is the debt, what's the impact that debt is having on your business, help you prioritize that debt, decide which things you need to do something about now, which ones you can safely delay or ignore, and keep a bird's eye view on the whole debt situation, understand whether you're winning or losing the battle against debt. So let's now jump in and take a look at an example deployment of our technical debt management solution. We'll start off with a worked example. So we've got already some technical debt items recorded in this example, and this dashboard gives you an overview of that technical debt. And right at the top, you can see that we've taken a big focus on the business impact of debt. We can see at the top here which business capabilities are most impacted by debt. The sales orders capability is the one that's got 3 debt items that are affecting it, for example. We can see that 22 applications altogether are affected by debt. And just a little bit lower down here, we can see some costs, both of living with the debt and the total cost of fixing all of the debt, if we were to choose to do so. And here we can see the different types of assets that are impacted by debt. So 2/3 of our debt is pointing at applications, but we can also see that there's a certain amount of debt associated with our servers and with databases as well. Further down here, we can see the different types of debt that we've got. So reliability is the quality characteristic most affected by debt, but we can also see a substantial amount that's linked to security. So there's some security issues that are associated with technical debt items that we've got in our estate. And this last pie chart here is one that we maybe want to take a closer look at, because we can see that we've made decisions on around about 1/3 of our debt items as to what we're going to do about them, but 2/3 of the debt items we have yet to decide what to do. And so let's take a further look at that and do some analysis of those debt items that haven't yet got any action associated with them. Here's a bubble chart which is just filtered down to those 6 items that haven't yet got an action associated with it. And this has now plotted those 6 items on a model called PAID, Plan, Address, Ignore or Delay, which is a recommended action. And this is a model that was developed by Gartner, and the data that we use to describe the debt items has allowed us then to do that analysis and come out with this recommendation. So let's take a closer look at these 2 items at the top here. And let's imagine that we've only got enough budget and resources to deal with one of these, and we need to decide which one of these, the payment portal being out of support or the user interfaces that don't meet accessibility standards. And we can see the bubble size here is showing us the cost of remediating the debt. And if you just watch those two bubbles while I change to the next slide is the same bubble chart, but the size of the bubble, instead of indicating the remediation cost, the cost of fixing the debt, it's going to show us the business impact of those debt items. So just watch that top right-hand quadrant here. And as I flip over to the business impact, we can see that the UI accessibility problem has a much greater business impact than the payment portal problem. I just flip back again. There's the cost, and this is the business impact. So this is quite a good way of then analyzing it. There are other visualizations we don't have time to take a look at, but this supports the architect looking through the debt items and making decisions about which ones to prioritize, which ones to then go and make a business case to find the budget, find the resources, and start an initiative to address the debt. This report is showing the same items, but it just helps us to confirm the decision I think we've taken, which is to address the user interface one. And if I take a look at the applications that are affected, there's the payment portal one, and I can see now why it was a relatively low business impact, because it's the old payment portal, which we're in the process of phasing out. And whilst that same application actually also suffers from the lack of accessibility, more worrying is the fact that the various product web portals are also suffering from that problem, which is why it has so much greater business impact. And I can see that problem of usability is affecting both our payments and sales orders business capabilities. So I'm going to go and now action that and make a decision as to what we're going to do about it. This now takes me to a survey which lists out all of the live debt items. I can order them by action, so I can see these are the ones I haven't yet taken any action over. I can also sort them, if there was a lot here, by the type of debt that I'm dealing with. Let's take a look now at that user interface doesn't meet accessibility standards debt item, because this is the one that we want to take action on. I can see here a description of the debt item. I can see that recommended debt action that we saw on the bubble chart. It's recommended that we should address this debt item. And here is where I'm being asked to say what action I'm going to take. I can choose between plan, address, ignore, and delay, paid, or I can also indicate that it's already been remediated, which it hasn't yet, unfortunately. So we'll choose address. And as a consequence of saying address, I'm now being asked to say, well, that's great that you're going to do something about it. Show us what you're doing about it. Choose the initiative. I could either start a new initiative here if we needed to start a new one, but my recollection is that we actually do have an initiative that's dealing with technical debt. There we go. There is already a program that's going to reduce our technical debt, and I'm going to add addressing this problem to that program. So I'll select that program as the one that's going to actually address this technical debt and solve the problem. The connection here, of course, is that when that initiative completes, I will then get a notification that the initiative is completed, and as the owner of the debt item, I can then go back, check that it's been remediated, and then come back here and mark that debt item as being remediated. So there's automated processes that sit behind all of this to make sure that we're tracking and keeping on top of those debt items. And I'll submit that, and that's now marked as having a debt action associated with, we're now addressing that debt item. Just coming back to our presentation, of course, that's great to be able to take action on individual items. Someone needs to get a bird's eye view of the whole scene, all of the debt items together, and are we winning or losing the battle? And this metrics dashboard helps us understand that. And I'm sorry to say, in this example, that red 550 is a big warning sign. It's a ratio. It's telling me that on average in the last 90 days, I'm accumulating more than 5 times as much debt that I'm actually addressing. And so I'm at the moment appear to be losing the battle in terms of defeating technical debt. I need to redouble my efforts to address the debt. And I can also see down here how long it takes on average for me to address debt that I've been looking at over the last 12 months. And again, unfortunately, that trend line is pretty sorry. I'm not addressing it fast enough, and it's taking longer and longer for me to address the debt after it's been discovered. So not such a happy scene here, but at least I can see what I need to do in order to be able to overcome it. Understanding it, using our debt management solution to be able to articulate it and then get on top of it is what we need to do. So thanks very much for joining. I hope that's given you a bit of an idea on how the debt management system solution can help you. And thanks very much.